Things are getting real tense in the Bay Area, and if you're a Warriors fan, you already know what I'm talking about. The situation with Jonathan Kuminga has officially reached that point where it's no longer about potential or development. It's about damage control and, honestly, finding a way to move forward without letting this drag down the entire team. When your agent goes on national television to air out internal issues, and you wipe your social media clean of any team-related content, you're not sending mixed signals. You're sending one very loud and clear message. I want out. Now, sure, Kuminga's agent tried to play both sides. Said his client wants to stay in Golden State, but also wants control over his own future. But let's not sugarcoat what that really means. That's just the PR-friendly way of saying, trade me, but I want to pick the destination. The front office might still be trying to keep things civil, maybe even hoping there's a sliver of a path to reconciliation. But for most people watching this unfold, it feels like we're way past the point of no return. Even before the interview, the signs were all there. The deleted Instagram, the deactivated Twitter. It was already clear he was distancing himself from the Warriors. That's not the move of someone who's all in on the team's goals. And when a player starts signaling that loudly, the focus has to shift from saving the relationship to maximizing what you can get in return. But that's where things get even more complicated, because what exactly is Kuminga's value right now? From a pure talent standpoint, he still has upside. He got the athleticism. He's shown flashes of what he can be, and you could argue that under the right system, he can be a star. But from the Warriors' perspective, he's quickly becoming more of a headache than an asset. And that's a problem, especially for a team that's trying to make one final championship run. The core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy. This group has maybe 2 seasons left before it's time to hang it up. Not because they want to, but because their bodies will force the issue. These guys are in last dance mode. And when you're in that mode, every piece on the board has to be moving in the same direction. Right now, Kuminga isn't just moving in the opposite direction. He's playing a completely different game. Even if the Warriors were to cave and offer him a lucrative 3-year deal with a player option at the end, what's to say he doesn't just use that as leverage again? You can't chase a title with question marks in a locker room. Everyone has to be locked in. So even if he technically stays, the chemistry would be off. And that opens the door for a mid-season trade, which sounds great in theory, but rarely works out in reality. Making a splash at the deadline can shake things up, but it rarely turns a good team into a title favorite overnight. The smart play is to make the trade now, solidify your roster, and give your guys the full season to gel. So where could Kuminga go? Well, he and his agent have made it clear they want leverage in choosing the destination. The qualifying offer is hanging over the team's head like a threat. Sign it, and he walks next year with 0 return. So yeah, the Warriors need to act, but they also need to be smart. First rule, don't send him to a direct rival. No Kings, no Suns. Those teams are already loaded, and the last thing Golden State needs is to face a motivated Kuminga in a playoff series. That would be a nightmare. Then there's the draft capital conversation. At this point, that has to take a back seat. The Warriors don't need more future picks. They need proven, high IQ veterans who can contribute now. If you want to send Kuminga somewhere like Phoenix, don't ask for a pick that might turn into something in 5 years. Ask for a player. Better yet, make it a 3-team deal and pull someone who fills an immediate need. But ideally, you send him east. Get him out of the conference. Let him thrive somewhere else, and avoid the risk of seeing him torch you in May. And speaking of the East, the Chicago Bulls are starting to look like a real option. Rumors have been gaining traction that a deal with the Bulls could be in the works. It wouldn't just be a straight-up swap. Think bigger. Add in Moses Moody. Maybe even Buddy Hield. Suddenly, you're looking at a framework that could bring back players like Nikola Vucevic, Kevin Huerter, or maybe even someone like Kobe White. Though personally, I'm not a fan of undersized guards. That small backcourt experiment, we've seen how that plays out. It didn't work with Monta Ellis and Steph Curry back in the day, and it sure didn't work with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell last season. Great in the regular season, a disaster in the playoffs. What matters now is balance. You offload Kuminga and maybe Moody to bring in 2 solid pieces instead of 3 average ones. That opens up a roster spot, which is going to be crucial when other teams start trimming down after preseason. Teams like the Nets, the Knicks, they're going to have roster crunches. Guys like Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet, Alex Len, they might suddenly become available. The Warriors need to be in a position to pounce. They got the trade exception. They got the flexibility. Use it. And don't forget the Sixers. They're trying to clear space to re-sign Quentin Grimes, which means names like Kelly Oubre or Andre Drummond could hit the market. Both would be sneaky good additions to this roster. Oubre brings scoring and energy. Drummond gives you size and rebounding. That's the kind of depth this team needs if they want to stand toe-to-toe with the best of the West. Because let's be real, the road to the finals is no joke. The Rockets, Thunder, Mavericks, Nuggets, Timberwolves, they're all stacked with length, youth, and physicality. You can't go to war with an incomplete roster. You need shooters, defenders, rebounders, and most of all, you need chemistry. This isn't about adding stars. It's about adding the right pieces. And sometimes, addition comes by subtraction. Kuminga may become a star somewhere else. That's fine. But his path doesn't align with the Warriors' window, and keeping him around just to protect potential isn't worth sacrificing a chance at one last ring. The ironic twist? The Warriors almost had the answer at the deadline last season. Turns out that rumor about Kevin Durant rejecting a return to Golden State was legit. And yeah, that stings. KD may be older, but he's still an elite scorer. And more importantly, the fit with Steph is already proven. That kind of synergy doesn't grow on trees. If they had landed him, even for a year or two, it could have been the piece that pushed them right back into true title contention. But apparently, there's still some bad blood. Whether it's from the 2019 fallout or just KD wanting to build something on his own, the reunion didn't happen. And now, he's in Houston, adding to the list of obstacles in the West. So here we are. Kuminga wants out. His agent's talking. The team chemistry is on the line. And the front office is on the clock. Do they make a move now and give this core the supporting cast it needs? Or do they wait, hoping things magically fix themselves while the rest of the conference gets better, younger, and hungrier? If the Warriors truly want to make the most of these final years with Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy, they can't waste another season waiting around for guys to figure it out. That phase is over. This isn't about grooming young talent anymore. It's about chasing a championship before the clock runs out. And if that means moving off of potential to get proven contributors, then so be it. That's the price of trying to win in the now. You look at this current roster, and there are pieces to work with, no doubt. Steph is still Steph. When healthy, he's one of the most dangerous offensive forces in the league. Draymond, despite the antics and the mileage, still brings a level of defensive IQ and playmaking that ties the team together. And Jimmy, though not a traditional star in the Warriors mold, fits what they need in this timeline. Grit, experience, and someone who can get a bucket when things break down. But that trio alone isn't enough. Not in this version of the Western Conference, where size and versatility are the name of the game. You need depth. You need shooting. You need toughness. And most importantly, you need guys who know how to win. That's why the idea of building out this roster with players like Vucevic and Herter isn't just intriguing, it's necessary. Vucevic gives you a legit center who can stretch the floor, rebound, and make plays out of the post. He's not going to be a defensive player of the year candidate, but he doesn't have to be. He just needs to hold his own and give the Warriors a real presence inside, something they've been lacking since the peak Bogut days. Herter, on the other hand, is the kind of floor spacer this team desperately needs. He's smart off the ball, can hit from deep, and plays with a level of poise that would fit right in with the Warriors' ball movement system. That kind of addition helps you stabilize both the starting unit and the bench. And once you start thinking about how the rest of this roster could shake out, it starts to look a lot more like a team that can actually make noise in the postseason. Behind the starters, you've got solid options. Seth Curry can still shoot the lights out. D'Anthony Melton brings defense and energy. Gary Payton II is still one of the most disruptive perimeter defenders in the league when healthy. Brandon Podziemski, who keeps showing flashes of playmaking and confidence, could take another step forward. Then there's the possibility of adding guys like Kelly Oubre or Andre Drummond. Not stars by any stretch, but players who fill specific needs. Oubre can give you a scoring punch off the bench, and Drummond is still a rebounding machine. These are the types of role players that championship teams lean on when rotations shorten and every possession matters. There's also the chance to take advantage of teams that are forced to cut valuable players due to roster crunches. We've seen it before. Talented veterans suddenly become available late in the preseason or right before opening night. That's where smart front offices win. Having an open roster spot, or the flexibility to create one, becomes a weapon. You keep your eye on teams like the Nets, the Knicks, even the Celtics, and you monitor who shakes loose. A guy like Malcolm Brogdon could be a sneaky good pickup if things go south in New York. Landry Shamet, Alex Len, maybe even someone like Quentin Post. These aren't headline names, but they're players who can fill gaps and give you quality minutes when counts. And when you zoom out and look at the rest of the conference, it becomes crystal clear why the Warriors can't afford to stall. The West is absolutely stacked. The Nuggets still have Jokic and a core that knows how to win together. The Mavericks added even more size and perimeter shooting. The Timberwolves, despite their playoff struggles, are young, athletic, and enormous. The Thunder are ahead of schedule and only getting better. The Rockets now have KD, which makes them instantly more dangerous. And even teams like the Pelicans and Grizzlies, if they stay healthy, could make a push. There are no easy paths anymore. You're going to have to beat giants to make it out of the West. And if your own squad isn't locked in and well-balanced, you don't stand a chance. That's the reality the Warriors are facing. And that's why the Jonathan Kuminga situation can't linger. Every day that goes by without clarity is a day wasted. You're either building towards a title or you're not. And if he's not fully committed, if his heart isn't in it, then it's time to move on. The Warriors don't need drama. They don't need uncertainty. They need guys who show up, buy in, and understand what's at stake. Kuminga might become a star somewhere else, and good for him if he does, but he won't become that star in Golden State. That bridge is burned. At some point, the conversation has to shift from what could Kuminga be to what can we get for him right now that helps this team win today. If that means parting with draft picks or taking on contracts that aren't perfect, fine. Titles are never won with perfect cap sheets. They're won by teams that understand windows, and the Warriors' window is right now. This isn't about building for the next 5 years. It's about making sure the next 2 years matter. And if you need to make aggressive moves to make that happen, then you make them. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The Golden State Warriors locker room may be simmering with tension after recent comment from Draymond Green that have left fans and analysts buzzing. In a candid, no-holds-barred interview, the veteran forward appeared to take aim directly at Stephen Curry, sparking speculation about the inner workings of one of the NBA's most celebrated teams. While Green stopped short of outright criticism, his words suggested frustration with the team's dynamics, leadership, and decision-making processes, raising eyebrows across the league. According to sources close to the team, Green's remarks were not entirely spontaneous. They reportedly stem from months of behind-the-scenes disagreements over strategy and role clarity. Phrases dropped in the interview hinted at concerns over accountability and the balance between individual brilliance and collective responsibility. Observers note that while Curry remains the undisputed face of the franchise, Green's influence in shaping team culture has always been significant, and any perceived tension between the two could have ripple effects both on and off the court. Fans have taken to social media, dissecting every nuance of Green's statements, with some interpreting them as a call for Curry to embrace a more vocal leadership style, while others see it as evidence of underlying friction that could affect team cohesion. Analysts speculate that if the Warriors fail to address these internal frictions, even their championship pedigree might not shield them from performance dips in the coming season. Inside sources hint that the Warriors' front office is already engaged in quiet damage control, seeking to prevent the public rift from evolving into a headline-grabbing feud. Still, whispers around the Bay Area suggest this is more than just media sensationalism. It could reflect a critical crossroads for the Warriors' locker room chemistry. As the team gears up for the next season, all eyes will be on how Curry and Green navigate this subtle, yet potentially explosive, tension, one that could redefine not just their relationship, but the trajectory of the franchise itself. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.